I got this.
Yo, what's up guys, it's a Reaver, and today I'm going to be talking about the Battlefield 2042 beta. This is going to be my review of it, and also just what I think about how it's going to be looking for the actual main game that's going to be coming out itself. So the first thing that I just want to mention, just straight up, is it's Battlefield. It's Battlefield 4 in the future, updated graphics, updated mechanics, not all in the best way. But if you liked Battlefield 4, I feel like you're going to like this game. It's kind of as simple as that. If you didn't like Battlefield 4, you're not going to like this game. They play very similar to me. So that would be this video in a nutshell. Like if that's all you wanted to know, like at the end of the day, it's Battlefield. If you didn't like it 4, you're not going to like it now. It's a little more cracked out with the movement, but that's where we stand. So I want to talk about the beta on a technical level. In terms of like how was the beta, how did it run, comparatively, especially to some of the other betas we've seen recently. The Battlefield 2042 beta on PC, at least, I did not play on console, so I cannot speak to that. But on PC, ran rather smoothly. There were a few things missing, like obviously there wasn't any like crossplay. That might be a struggle in the future too, because some of the old gen consoles just don't have the same capacity for player counts and such. But in terms of strictly for PC, it ran really well. I didn't experience any major crashes or any major bugs for the most part. Some of the UI elements weren't completed. I do hope they add something in for the aim assist settings. I like to play on linear. I actually switched that recently for like Call of Duty and Apex. There wasn't anything to be able to change it in the Battlefield. I really hope they change that. I was playing with controller on PC because I've been playing console for a really long time. That's what I'm used to. But due to the no change there, you might have some problems, especially if you do like the other settings. It was tough for me to get used to aiming. In comparison to the other betas that we've seen recently, like Call of Duty, this one's much better off and miles ahead. The Call of Duty one was tragic, barely playable. I didn't play on PC, but I heard bad things about that as well. On console, it was unplayable. It was ridiculous. Actually, I don't even know what they're thinking releasing it in that state. According to like a lot of YouTubers, that are out there, and some just looking up, it seems that this was a pretty old, dated version of the game, which could be true for Call of Duty as well, but this was still miles ahead. So some of the issues were small, and it was just kind of things you'd expect from a beta. Like sometimes not all the features of the game worked. When I spawned in a couple times, I'd have to keep remaking my class again. It wouldn't save the same like attachments and everything that you could put on your gun. Or same with the specialist, like I'd select a specialist, I'd spawn in with a different one. So just small things like that. So the beta's in a good spot. So I think the game, when it comes out, we'll see. Servers are a big thing I'm worried about. The servers went pretty smoothly for me in the beta, but when the full game comes out, that's what I'm worried. I know other Battlefield games have had major server issues, so I think that's really what we have to worry about more than anything. Maybe some balancing issues, potentially, but it didn't feel too bad. Talked about some of the technical things regarding the beta. I want to talk about more of weapon balancing, how it feels, gameplay. The first thing, and very easy to see when you're watching the gameplay, is it's definitely more cracked out. It's a lot closer to Call of Duty in terms of movement compared to other Battlefield games. Like the sliding, it's pretty Call of Duty feeling. That's something I actually don't like. It's just, to me, it's not Battlefield. I feel like it's a modern thing where they're trying to mechanics and make sure it feels modern, but for me that's just not Battlefield. I prefer not to see that. The tac sprint, hate that, hate it for the thumbs. Not sure how bad it is for PC players. Console players, tactical sprint, like the worst thing ever. Nobody wants it in Call of Duty, yet they brought it back again for this new one. So rip to our thumbs, especially if it's going to be in Battlefield 2, but it is what it is. I think the weapons were pretty easy to use for a Battlefield game. There wasn't a ton of recoil, and I don't know, it just, to me, it didn't feel as difficult as a Battlefield game normally is in terms of like weapons and getting used to the different weapons. It felt very Call of Duty-esque with like recoil patterns being pretty easy to control. We'll see what it's like in the full game, but I think that's something we might just have to get used to in terms of the Battlefield franchise. I don't think it's terrible, but that is just something to mention, especially if you like maybe more realistic things. In a way, it is good because the SMGs feel terrible at range, which is good. Call of Duty can map people with SMGs and stuff, so it's nice that the weapons seem like they work well at their distances. The ARs feel pretty dominant because of that, because they're good at close, they're good at medium, and they got some range to them, again, due to the lack of some of that recoil. Snipers felt, I guess there's just one in the game, but the beta, it felt pretty good. It's Battlefield sniping, aim for the head. So it felt pretty good. The glint seems, I don't know if it was just me, but I thought the glint was pretty obvious, like almost impossible to miss. So maybe I almost wish they turned that down just a tiny bit, because I'd see that thing very easily across the map. Like, it's pretty, I don't know how you could even miss it really. So weapons, they do feel good, but maybe a little less Battlefield than maybe some of the hardcore fans would like. So I think it's going to be better for more like general public, people who aren't as big as Battlefield fans, which I can kind of say about a lot about the game. It feels a little easier than other titles. And then when we look at like equipment and specialists, hate the specialists, hate it in Call of Duty. Now we're going Battlefield. They're like, hey, what do people hate about Call of Duty? Specialists, let's do that. So now we have to deal with specialists in Battlefield. I hope they can the idea complete before launch. Maybe it's not possible, but it would be fantastic. The only specialist that even felt good to use was the grapple specialist. Don't know their name, don't care because I don't care about the specialist. But the grapple was really the only one was good. I remember using the medic one, like the dart that you shoot to res teammates doesn't go very far, and I was shooting teammates and nothing was happening. I don't know if it was a glitch or I was doing it wrong, but the drone on the recon specialist, not good. Stupid drones for the other one, like the dog, I guess, is probably for him. I don't even know. But I really didn't do anything with the grapple. The grapple is a fantastic addition to the Battlefield franchise, in my opinion. In Battlefield, especially with like some of the height. Obviously, this map had a giant skyscraper that was very difficult to get to. Very frustrating with campers and such. So the grapple just introduces a new element where it makes it a lot harder to camp that high ground. So like you can't just put a claymore on some like on a ladder where a lot of buildings there's like one ladder at the top on a grapple up, go get that sniper who's just been camping on top of the building the whole game. Same for really anything else. I just really like that element. It's fun. I had a couple cool plays on top of that building where I'd like jump off, grapple like I'm playing Apex with Pathfinder and just murk somebody. Next, I'm going to talk about vehicles. I don't have a ton to say on the vehicles because I'm not a big vehicle person. When I play Battlefield, I pretty much ignore vehicles, which maybe sounds dumb if you play Battlefield, but for me, I'm a gun kind of guy. Give them the gunny. I don't need to be sitting in a helicopter just gunning people down who don't stand a chance, but teach their own. I know people love it. And for people who love air vehicles, you're going to love this game because holy crap, do they feel strong. It's gonna be like Battlefield 4. You get a little bird pilot who's filthy with it, and you don't have like a whole squad dedicated trying to shoot them down. They might just drop 70 on your head and not die a single time. So we'll see how that goes. I hope it's nerfed a little bit because like I was trying very hard to kill some pilots, and it was literally impossible. I guess it was probably only me trying to shoot them down, but still like. Seems like it'd be very frustrating. The other vehicles seem fine. The tanks seem like they did a pretty good job. I didn't even touch tanks really because again, it's just not my thing. But people killed me a few times in it. Like a lot of people are trying to snipe with tanks that are just sitting in a spot. And like I don't even know. It's kind of weird some of the gameplay I saw, which however it works. But the tanks seemed pretty good. Like they'd kill me a few times. They weren't too difficult to take out if you had someone with a rocket. The other vehicles, they just drive around. The vehicles felt pretty nice. Something that was really cool for vehicles, you can call down some of like the car type vehicles to wherever you are. So if you're stuck out in the open, you just capped an objective and there's no enemies for like a mile. Instead of having to run like 3 minutes, you can get in a car and get there way faster, which is really cool. Just pull up a menu and it drops down. It's a really cool addition. But the vehicles, like I said, I'm not a big fan, but it seems maybe like a little nerf to the air vehicles, but other than that, it's vehicle gameplay. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, there's some game modes you can avoid it. Like I love Rush because there's not as many vehicles. I guess I'll just transfer right into the I guess game modes. Obviously, we only had one. Conquest felt like Conquest. If you're not a big fan of Conquest like me, it might not have been the best. But even saying that, that's one of the things I say about this beta. I hear a lot of people complaining, but I thought it was really good, and I don't like Conquest, so that's saying something. Especially on a map that's so choke point heavy with that tower. I feel like they maybe could have chose a better map for that for the beta, but I guess this one, because of that tower, it has that like staying power in the mind. You know, it's easy to remember and everything. So there's that. One really annoying thing that I did want to talk about is the weather effects and just visibility in general, mainly because of the weather effects. So I'm sure everybody's noticed by now in gameplay or in trailers, there's rain, there's the storm. I never even saw the tornado. It was probably on the map at some point. Never went to it, didn't see, had no interest in it. It's one of those Battlefield gimmicks that is cool like one time, and then it's annoying. So there's that. The rocket, I don't even think I ever saw blast off. Same thing. I didn't play around that side of the map too much anyways, because most of the people were by the tower, so just didn't go over there that much. But they're just gimmicks, so they don't really add anything to the game. If anything, they subtract, especially just when the storm rolls in, the visual effects. I mean, it's just so frustrating. It's so harder. It's just so much harder to see people for no reason. Like, I feel like that's better for like a game mode if you want to do something, or a specific map. But just in the middle of the game to have it change is realistic and cool in a way. But like at the end of the day, I'm just trying to play Battlefield, right? I'm trying to play the game, have fun, and that kind of just gets in the way, in my opinion. But it is what it is. The graphics themselves, beta, pretty flawless from what I saw. I didn't really have any trouble. Oh my god, the graphics are pretty wild. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm switching over to PC now, and this is like my first like main shooter that's only on. I've played on PC. I got a 3070, so you know the graphics, well, not amazing. I was able to play on high settings. I didn't go to ultra, but I just stuck with high, so I keep really good performance and ran really well. And the graphics are nutty, man. They're pretty amazing. So it's really cool. Um, I know on console they aren't as good, obviously, especially like probably the older gens. I've heard that they're not as nice, but that's just kind of what you expect. And honestly, the more newer games come out, the graphics are just going to get worse and worse instead of better for the old consoles, or at least there'll be that bigger discrepancy. I have a PS4 Pro, so I'm going to be playing mainly on PC, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you do have an older console, it's obviously not going to look as good. Um, so there's that. The weapon, like the in-game weapon thing where you can change attachments, ammo type, and everything like that, I think is really cool. I was having trouble finding where to even like set up your gun in the actual like screen, the spawn screen, which was kind of weird. I would like to be able to do that there, but it is really cool to be able to change your weapon on the fly. Like if you get a new attachment, we'll see if that actually happens in a new game because you already had all the attachments unlocked in game. So like if you just throw it on there, in life would be really cool. But at the same time, like it's cool, but I feel like it's more of a gimmick than anything. Like I didn't find many situations where I was actually switching attachments that much. The only thing would really be the scope. Um, just like if I ended up being in a situation where I need a longer range scope, I did a couple times. But I mean, usually when I'm playing a game, I just have attachments on my gun that I like. It makes it perform the way I want, and I just throw it on and play with it. So it's kind of gimmicky, but it's definitely, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt to have that in the game, so I really like it. I mean, it's really cool. I hope Call of Duty could do something. At the same time, you die so fast in that game, it's so cracked that it might not even matter as much. But it's definitely cool they implemented something like that. I haven't played any games where they've actually been able to implement like that, or at least that style of game where usually you change it in your like death screen. But this one, that's really cool. Nice little technical feat for them. So high five to them. If I had to give this game or the beta itself like a rating, personally, I would go in terms of Battlefield and like how it feels to play a Battlefield game. Honestly, it's pretty high up there for me. I'd give it like an 8 or 9. Like I'm not a massive Battlefield person, but my favorite Battlefield games were 3 and 4. The modern setting, I could not stand the World War settings in the last couple of Battlefields, so I didn't play a hardline. It was meh. It was just cops versus robbers as a whole, not a vibe, and the money system was terrible. So this one feels really good. I think it's going to be a good Battlefield game. I'm pretty hopeful. I think it's in a good spot, technically wise, like graphics and just how it runs. And the gameplay was fun. So I'm actually pretty excited for this Battlefield. We'll see if it holds up. But again, if you like the Battlefield 3, 4 era, you're going to enjoy this. There's not a ton of destruction, but there's some. So the way I put it, like if you enjoyed Battlefield before, you're gonna enjoy this one for the most part. If you didn't, you're not. I don't think this is gonna like game changer, bring in a bunch of like new people. The only situation I see that is if Call of Duty like just flops because they do their thing, and I'm a little worried about Call of Duty. So if their game struggles and people aren't liking that, that's where I see the influx of players. Not necessarily because Battlefield's a good game. I see it more of other games screwing up. So that's my opinion on this beta. Like I said, really looking forward to the game, and we'll just have to wait and see. Guys, if you think you'll miss me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you around.